Hello everyone, this is Michael Shakib from Swansea University, and I just wanted to put this video out, and it is a video on PVGIS. So hopefully it's quick and hopefully it's practical, and so you actually get hands-on on how to use this really quite straightforward and powerful program to calculate solar energy yield, which is an essential step if you're going to evaluate the feasibility of any renewable energy project. Now, let's come on to that, because there is a sort of real reason, or another reason why I wanted to release this video, and that's because this is actually directly from a course which I've written on project finance for renewable energy projects. So there's two things going on here. One, I hope you get something from this video, and I'll leave a link below to PVGIS. And then secondly, I hope it inspires you to want to go on further and actually do the full course. And again, we'll leave a link below. That's Project Finance Renewable Energy Projects, and you'll be able to find it at the link below. Okay, cheers, hope you enjoy, or at least get something out of it. In this section, we're going to have a look at a real world example of calculating the yield from solar. And I like this because we delve into real world examples now. We're not just talking about hypotheticals on spreadsheets, and I think things get exciting when we actually interact with the real world. So this is an open infrastructure map, which is freely available on the internet. Here's the address, and this shows basically all of our energy infrastructure in the UK. All right, so you can put things on if you want, and there's water as well. We're interested in power and solar generation. So let's have a look. Let's go and have a search around the Swansea area of some sites that have got potential for solar. And nestled somewhere around Dunvant, Three Courses area, in Upper Calais, there is a solar farm that I know of. There it is. Killan Farm. It's 1,000 kilowatts. It's a megawatt solar farm. So just click on that and see what this information gives us. 1 megawatt. Let's go into more information. Well, there's actually not much more information there. But let's see where it is. Just go into OpenStreetMap. And here we have to click on a node. So, alright. So, to identify this area, we are here. And this is our location of longitude and latitude, or location here. Oh, what have I done? That wasn't part of the plan. Oh dear. Right, let's do that again. I clicked on the wrong thing. Anyway, let's go back to here, and let's go command copy. I've done it already, but I'm going to put it in. And paste this into Google Maps. And look, here is our solar farm, nestled between Three Courses and Dunvant and Upper Calais. Killan Farm. Right, so obviously the people who built this solar farm would have gone through a very, very similar process to what we have been talking about so far. So why don't we try and figure out what the yield is going to be at this solar farm location? And to do that, I'm going to use this tool here. Bear in mind that this is one of the methods that we can employ freely. There's many, many, many other methods out there, most of which you will have to pay for eventually, because this does not cover everything that we need to know, but it covers enough just for educational purposes now. So this is a joint research centre. This is a European programme, Photovoltaic Geographical Information System, otherwise known as PVGIS, and let's visit this. So when we get into PVGIS, we've got some things which become quite familiar to us. Right, here's our map. So I suppose the first thing we have to do is put in a location. I don't know whether we could put in Killan Farm here. Possibly. Has that done it? Nope, it has not done it. So let's put in our coordinates, and so we'll get that from our map here. Right. Oh dear me. Poor planning this is, isn't it? Should have had all this sorted before we even started, but no. Anyway, so there's that, and we have our, oh please work. Alright, making it awkward for us. Maybe I'll cut all that out, I don't know. Maybe I won't, because this is real life after all. There we go, Killan Farm. So there's our selected coordinates there. Right, so then what have we got here? So basically, the very basics of this is that we have some options in which we can put in to try and get our yield. So we need to have a solar radiation database, and we may as well just use any one of these because none of them mean anything to us. We have crystalline technology, so this is our type of panel that we're going to use. Let's leave it as crystalline technology, crystalline silicon rather, not crystalline technology. Need to slow down a bit here. Right, what's our installed power in kilowatt peak? So that was 1,000, wasn't it? Now we're going to assume some system losses. And why not say is 14%? Okay. We're going to say that this is a freestanding solar array rather than a roof-mounted solar array, because it is freestanding if we look at it on the map. So freestanding arrays, ground-mounted. And what we're going to say, we are going to say our slope and azimuth. So, right, what is our slope and azimuth? Well, there's definitions within the documentation here, but I'm going to show you this diagram here, which is very good. It's on this website, Penn State University, and it shows us a beautiful diagram of a sky dome with our solar panel here, and it shows us what our azimuth is, and we depict the solar collector sun orientation here. The collector tilt is beta, so that's the slope. Okay, so that's how much we tilt our panel up from the ground. And then we've got our azimuth, which basically just says what direction it's pointing in relation to north or in relation to south. It depends how you want to look at it. And all of these will obviously then, make a difference, because if you turn this panel the other way round and our sun is now beaming down on the back of the panel, well, obviously it's not going to have as much of a yield, is it, as if we are in the northern hemisphere facing our panel due south. So that's all we're saying here is what direction is our solar panel facing in. And if we go back to, and also as well, what's our tilt? So if we go back to here, we can say that our slope is 35 degrees. So that is, if we go back to the diagram, that's our beta. That's our 35 degrees. And our azimuth, or where our solar panel is pointing towards, is 0. Now then, I don't know whether I agree with the way that PVGIS has done this, because they are assuming 0 is due south, whereas I would assume that that's due south should be 180. But there we are. I think due south, I think north should be 0, and due south should be 180. But that's the way they've done it, so we'll just go with that. Right, and let's now get the results. So we're not going to have a look at the electricity. We're not going to have a look at tracking or off-grid options. We don't really need to bother with all of this. So all we need to bother with is what we've done so far. So let's visualize our results. And what do we get if we get any results? All right, so here's our location. We've calculated our horizon. We've used this database. We've told them what sort of PV technology we're going to be using. We've told them we've got an installed capacity of 1 megawatt, and we're going to have system losses of 14%. A slope angle of 35 degrees, which is great, and an azimuth pointing due south. Our yearly PV energy production is this number here. Now, if any of you have any trouble like me of actually trying to pronounce these numbers, sometimes I use this website here, which is numbers to words. I like this. Oh, let me go back to here and copy, and I'm going to put that into there. Numbers to words. It doesn't really matter if it's US dollars. So it's 1,069,445.72. There you are. So that's it. And actually, that's more than the million that we calculated previously, isn't it? If I bring that up, we can see it. Where are we here? Here we are. So we assumed a million, didn't we, beforehand? But actually, our yield is, according to this database, is more than that. It's that number there. Right. So what else does this show us? Well, it shows us that we don't have the same amount of yield in each month of the year. Obviously, in the summer, we get a lot more than what we do in the winter months. All right. That's obvious. Let's have a look at some of the losses that we've get, or changes in output due to angle of instance, which not being perfect. We have spectral effects, which seems to me to be beneficial here. And then we have temperature and low irradiance losses here. So we have total losses of minus 17.77. Let's put our losses here to 0. And let's see what we get. Well, obviously we get more yield, where we get 1.2 million there. And we've still got angle of instance losses and spectral effect increase, actually, isn't it? Okay, and temperature and low irradiance loss. You still have losses, so no matter what we do, we're built into this model are some losses. And then the losses that we are trying to model here really are like our losses to grid, our inverters. Okay, losses through cables, losses through inverters, things like that. And 14% may be a good number, it may not be a good number. These are the things you kind of have to work out, and that's a separate subject in a way, because you have to understand electricity and power and national grid and everything like that. But we don't need to do that right now. If we go into the documentation then, what do they say? Let's have a look here. Is there anything important for us to know? Well, actually there is something that's quite important that we need to know. Is that we've ticked here, let me just click on a random place. We've clicked here, calculate horizon, alright? And you can upload horizon file. What is this? What is calculate horizon? Well, the solar radiation and PV output will change if there are local hills or mountains that block the light of the sun during some periods of the day. PVGIS can calculate the effects of this using data about ground level elevation with a resolution of 3 arc seconds, around 90 meters. This calculation does not take into account shadows from very nearby objects such as houses or trees. In this case, you can upload your own horizon information. It's normally a good idea to use the horizon shadowing option. Okay. So that's what that's doing. That is taking into account any major hills, basically stuff which is out of our control, large objects like hills that we can't move out of the way, which create shadows. Let's go back to documentation actually, and let's see. So this tells you about using horizon information, so you can do that. We have got information about our solar radiation database here, and I mean this is something you could just go into and figure out for yourself. Basically, one of the things I did want to talk about is our azimuth. So the azimuth is the orientation. The azimuth orientation is the angle of the PV modules relative to the direction due south. So minus 90 is east, 0 is south, and 90 is west. So that's the way they've done it. All right. So you need to know that about this model before you go putting in any random values for azimuth. And the rest of it is something that you can go through yourself and try and figure out. And if there's any questions, you can ask me. I'm not an expert on this. I use it quite rarely. I use it quite basically. So, it does the job as a first try, or at least for educational purposes. Well, I thought that was it, but it's not. Let's do one. Let me illustrate one last thing. This horizon thing, all right? It says, well, it does not take into account shadows from nearby objects such as houses or trees. So how do we do that? How do we go about actually trying to model that? Well, there is software out there, free software out there that will enable us to do that, and we'll go through that now. And I think I'll use something called Open Solar. That's the one I'm most familiar with. And on that note, you should be able to find that video along with many others on the rest of our YouTube channel. So do take a look at some other videos that we upload, and do have a look at the link which contains all the information for this course. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this. Okay, bye.